I'm like,
You
oh
ready?
my God.
Whenever you are.
All right, we'll call this meeting of the Porter County Election Board officially here. To get started, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Board Member Bing?
Here.
Vice President Lowe?
Present.
I'm like, I don't even know what anybody is right now. Member Chittister?
Here.
President Roush?
Here.
Secretary Bailey here.
All right, approval of minutes. This would be the January meeting minutes, the last time the board was in session. Any questions or comments on the meetings, or the minutes as they're written?
I'll do a motion to approve the minutes.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Clerk's report.
Okay, so as you all know, we did not have any spring filings for special elections, so we decided to take the opportunity that we had a little bit of extra time, and Sunday, Becky and myself all became certified in election coding. So Porter County will now be coding their own elections instead of sending it out to Omaha, and that's going to save the county a lot of time, because before we would send it to them, and then we just wait in the queue for whenever they got done ready, so that we were coded. Sometimes we got it last minute. If there was some correction that needed to be made, we'd send it back to them, wait in their queue again, then send it back, go through all 123 proofs, or more if it's a primary, and more. We have 17-year-old ballots, so now we'll be able to do that ourselves. In addition, when we decided to do outreach for the Porter County Fair, we had a fun election coded, and that cost us $2,500. But the purpose of the equipment was for more outreach, for more voter information, more voter education, and so each time we had a fun election, it really, hit us in the pocketbook. Now we're going to be able to keep our skills sharp and do what we wanted with the equipment, and that's outreach to the high school. So we will be coding the election for the Washington Township prom, and so that means we're going to take our equipment. The students will be able to go through the check-in process. They're not going to be on an e-poll book, but they will have to show their ID. They'll be able to, approve their name, hand them a piece of cardstock. Then they're going to take it to the express vote. They're going to vote their candidates, put it in a DS200, and then we'll go back and tabulate the results for them. And then, so that should allow them to be familiar with the equipment. It's not only something really, really cool. We wanted to start with one of the smaller schools just to get it underneath our belt, but we'll be able to do not just National Honor Society, class elections, homecoming. So we're hoping to get to all of the schools by being able to do fall and spring elections for the different schools, and it's going to make it so they are less intimidated. Going in to vote for the first time is a very intimidating process. Not only, you've had to research the candidates, you don't know who these people are, you're making a decision. If you know how to use the equipment, you've already been through the check-in process, you're going to already have knowledge and education underneath your belt, so the only thing you need to focus on is the candidates.
Great civics lesson.
Yes, so we're very excited about that. And then we also had a visit from LaPorte County. They brought their government officials, they brought community members, and they are very excited to add the Vote-Mobile concept to LaPorte County. The girls went and got the bus, they cleaned it all up, they actually set it up so that it looked just like in early voting. We had one of our fun elections loaded in there, and they actually went through the check-in process, just as they would if they were voting in the Vote-Mobile. And then when they were done, they're just like, this is amazing. And with the amount of area that LaPorte County has, I think it'll work really well for them. So that's exciting news.
Maybe we could do a fun vote at a Bears tailgate.
Absolutely. Who's going to win?
That sounds good to me.
One of the Hawaiian Islands.
Shipping of the van might cost.
It is important to do research.
It is.
We should take one for the team. That's all I have for my report.
All right, thank you. Do we need a motion to accept her report? I don't think so. All right, director's report.
We don't have too much, but we started processing registrations, started January 1st. We processed almost 10,000 registrations since the freeze from the last election, when we couldn't process anything any longer. So those are all getting caught up. Like Jessica said, we did do the coding. Along with being able to code our own ballots, we can actually burn our own media as well. We'll be able to burn our own cards. So like we burned the cards for that fun election that we did. So that was kind of fun, and we're actually really excited about it.
The majority of them coming from the BMV, the
Yeah.
registrations?
A lot of OBRs too, but
Okay.
the majority was BMV.
Okay.
But yeah, mostly BMV and OBR, not too many walk-ins.
No.
They kind of knew when we told them when they came in.
And with it being an off year, you don't have anybody doing any drives or anything like that?
No. Not yet.
Probably not till the fall if
Yeah,
we end
maybe
up with
later in the
special
year.
election.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
anything to
And
add?
they do want to use the, I know Hebron had reached out and said that they do want to use the boatmobile if they, for the school, that school referendum in November. So that'll be another, we'll be able to go there ourselves.
My fun is just going to be talking about the campaign finance next.
Okay, yeah, the fun topic, right? All right, let's get right into that campaign finance update.
So, we had sent letters to anybody that was outstanding. As of right now today, there is only 2 candidates that have not complied with the letters or turned in.
So we're talking about the annual that was due in
And, yeah,
January.
The 2 candidates that are left, yeah, they don't owe amended reports, they owe still the 2020 annual that was due in January. Other than that, I mean, the list was quite long, so it is a big improvement, but 2 remaining that we have to figure out what to do with.
And they've received a communique, right?
And yeah, I sent to you all what I got from them. I'm going to pull that back up again. But I believe on one of the 2 candidates that they received the copy in the mail, but I think we got our green card back on one of them. And the other one received both the certified mail and the normal mail.
We do know that one of them is out of the state, and moved out of the state, so if it was that candidate, it was a reason that she's not receiving the letters.
We do vote tracker.
Oh, I take it back. We actually, on one of the candidates who lives in the county, the certified mail came back, but the mail did not come back. Same thing with, it returned unopened, both are 2 candidates that are still outstanding. But the one that we sent regular mail went.
So you don't know, though, if it was, like, rejected or just
It probably was, in other words, it was probably rejected, okay? Because the one sent regular mail didn't come back to us. So the address is good, right?
I'll volunteer to go to Florida.
Bipartisan team.
Yep.
Yeah, so
A lot of
service,
dedication.
Yep.
so service might be, I'll have to look into what we do for service on, on that.
Well, before the letters were sent to, we did send a couple of friendly emails from the election email as well, trying to get in the habit of doing that. Reminder, so.
They have
We
both
have
been
made
contacted,
multiple-
they have both responded to,
They've gotten letters.
they are aware,
Yeah.
very much aware. Both of them are.
So what do you do with the ones that are out of town? I mean, you have no real leverage or anything like this.
And they would be treated just the same as they haven't closed out, so whether they're here or not, they still have an open committee, and if they have not disbanded it, they're eligible for the binding process.
If they still have a residency here, we could look at doing an alternate way of giving service to them at their residence and leaving notice at their residence. I'm looking at Ethan and David, you guys understand what I'm saying? instead of trying to do service through certified mail, we may have to just do a personal delivery.
Is it formal that we have to physically have a letter received? Because we know that these candidates know that they're outstanding.
Well, because if we're going to do a hearing under the Administrative Procedures Act, we still have to give service. And we have to have service that's considered to be a valid service.
So what if they reject it or here? I mean.
Well, but they have a residency here, so we'll have to look into how to address that with their residency here.
So the people in Florida do maintain residency here as well, is that what you're saying?
I don't think so.
But they
No.
don't?
No, okay.
Oh, they don't even, okay, I didn't know if they had a home still here.
Not anymore.
Yeah, apparently not.
Okay, that might be a little bit more difficult then.
Yeah, if we don't know where they currently live, Florida's a pretty big state to walk, you know?
Why I volunteered to go
Yeah.
door to door.
Yeah, what time is it now? Yeah, so we need to understand what you do when somebody up and leaves.
My
and
suggestion,
they've left something open here.
my suggestion is that if you guys want for next month, we can set a time to give proper service to at least the one that's the resident here and have them come in and we can set that for a hearing.
And then have further discussion about what we need to do to properly serve the out-of-state individual then, Monica, is that what the thought is?
Yeah, let me kind of look at what we might do on that. I mean, I don't know, I don't know what we're going to do to get personal jurisdiction over somebody out of state. We'd have to probably domesticate it, I don't service, or I don't know how much we want to, there's a little bit more hoops, I guess, I don't even know how we get their address in Florida.
Now that we got,
Mailed stuff to the person in Florida before, right?
We have an email address as well.
Yeah.
Okay, we can look at that.
I think if we set it for a hearing, they might comply real quick.
Right, I am all about fairness and being equal and open and understanding excuses and whatnot, but I also think that after this long, we need to finally follow through with some steps to make them realize that we're serious.
Well, and we're halfway through the 4th month, and these people, I have personally communicated with both of them to let them know. There's one from each party, set them both for a hearing.
Exactly, it's not partisan because there's one of each.
but now that we've got it down to about almost ground zero, we really need to talk about what we want to do to get their attention. We got to put some fines in here. That's all there is to it. And then
Well, I think the fines are imposed at the hearing.
There's so much you
So,
can
yes,
do,
that's
and
correct.
you can email, you can fax your reports, it doesn't matter where you are.
Mhm.
There's no
You
reason for
can do
it.
it from your, we have candidates that send us crumpled up, blurry pictures of it, and we make it work,
I've had them
you
text
can
it
do
to
it,
me.
yeah, you can make it work.
Just make them Facebook them to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Where there's a will, there's a way, and we adopted a procedure last year, or the end of 2019, I'm not certain
Yeah, I
when.
think it was 19.
And all of those steps are in there, and it says, if you haven't complied, you're gonna go for a hearing, and then we're gonna impose a fine. And if they come to the hearing and we choose to waive the fine, then that's up to the board to decide to do. But we already have the procedure in process, we just need to move to the next step, which would be to set a hearing.
And I don't know the legalities to it, but if it's like, you come to this May meeting, or you will be punished. And if they turn in the report in the meantime, they're done. If they don't show up at the meeting, then we start, whatever they have.
Well, here's my 2 cents.
Yeah,
I think whether they submit the report or not, they show up for the hearing. Because this has been dragged out long enough, there's been enough resources expended on trying to contact these people and trying to encourage them to be in compliance. So I don't want it out there that if they just file the report, they don't need to show up here. That's my 2 cents.
yeah, no,
I agree.
I think I agree with that. You have some input, sir?
Yeah. As you know, I follow the reports, and I also work in other counties. And for an example, in White County, if you don't file, it's automatic.
It's
Right.
automatic.
Right, they don't.
It's automatic.
It's automatic.
Then they notify you that you can come to a hearing and have the fine reduced or waived.
Mhm.
You depending upon the presentation you make. And that basically happened to me this year with one of the candidates I was working with. It was a candidate in Lake County. We had filed a 2019 report and filed a final disdain. Then we made an amendment to the report where we forgot to check the box final disdain. So since that was afterwards, they said we owed 2020 report. It was a mistake of not checking that box. But I got a letter from them saying that you are going to be fined because you're past due on the report. You're going to be fined $1,000. But you can come to the March meeting and we will discuss what happened. Prior to that meeting, I filed a 2020 report with a box. This time, we made sure the box was checked. At the March 16th meeting, the board said that they still instituted the fine but waived the penalty.
Mhm.
So therefore, they did not penalize us because they understood why the mistake had happened. So I think, this board has for several years debated with this issue, and I think it's really time to say, okay, enough is enough.
Yeah.
We've really worked to try to get all these people in line, and most of them are been very responsive. We had over 39 that didn't have adequate reports. All 39 of those people have amended their reports, three of them twice, because it's so many years. So I think it's incumbent upon the board to finally put the brass tacks to it, go ahead and do the fine, send them a letter saying they're being fined, come to your next meeting. If they don't come to the next meeting, institute the fine. If they don't pay it, then turn it over to the prosecutor and let the prosecutor handle it.
I agree. It's not fair to people
Thank
that
you,
are
sir.
doing
And
it.
that's,
Correct.
and I agree on behalf of both, everybody I've worked with on both sides of it.
But we've been so relaxed too for so long, I mean, like he's talking about the quality as well. We have so many that we see that forget that box. But we've been really relaxed and, let a lot of things go for a very long time. And I feel like candidates are feeling like, I don't need to turn it in on time because nothing's gonna happen to
Right.
me. Oops, it's 3
Right.
days late.
Right,
Well,
you're
Right, I think
I
that's
think
what we're
that-
experiencing here.
Yeah, it's been too long, yeah.
Well, and I was very firm,
Yeah, we offered.
right, I was very firm that I did not want to impose any fines until they were educated. We have done multiple trainings. People come to them, people watch them online, and at this point in time, it's just 2 individuals who have chosen not to turn in their report. It's not because they're uneducated, it's not because they don't know that they have it out there. They're both very well aware that they just have not submitted. And it's not that they did something in error, like it's not an amended report that we're still waiting for.
Right.
It's the original that was due in January.
So do we want to fine them and then have a hearing, or have a hearing and then fine them?
You have,
You have
the
the
hearing, the
So
hearing.
you have to have the hearing.
Have them a chance to come forward.
Yeah, the hearing is prerequisite to a fine.
Just have them come to our next meeting,
All right,
that they're required, and if they don't, we fine them.
then we're going to fine them. But we should give some thought to what kind of schedule you want to set up for fines. I mean, after so many days, 30 days, it's one, with the state, it's $50 a day for every day till you hit 1,500.
Yeah, it does,
And it's no excuse.
I think that's in
Every
statute.
day from the date of January 19th.
I think
Every
that,
day afterwards, $50 a day up to $1,000 fine.
I
The
think
date
it's,
one starts on the due date.
Yeah, so the statute reads, and then after that, we can, as a board, decide if we want to reduce that fee. But ultimately, right now, they owe $50 a day, every day from January 19th at 12:01.
Up to $1,000.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
So basically, they're all capped.
So they've already hit the 1,000 at this point.
They've already.
Absolutely.
I think.
So we can tell them that they are being fined $1,000, because by statute they are, and then it's up to us, it's up to them to come here and convince us to reduce it. It's how I read it.
I think the statute says the board shall,
Shall.
as opposed to may, it's the board shall fine. But then, Jessica's done a good job at just saying, but then the board has discretion to determine whether to reduce.
So would it be effective actually January 20th?
Yes, starting the day that it was due at 12:01 is $50 is fined at 12:01. noon,
By the way,
not midnight,
for your
noon.
clarification, they include Saturday and Sunday in those fines.
Wow.
So if it's 12:01 on Friday, you get fined for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, even though you wouldn't know. If you file on Monday, you still got 3 days worth of fine.
Yeah, it's not business days, it's days.
Well, because you can file it, you can email it, you can fax it.
Sure.
Just because we don't get it until Monday doesn't mean it
Yeah,
wasn't
you
signed.
have timestamps of when it was received.
So our next communique needs to include the fact that they are being fined each day from the date you gave through whatever date
The maximum
you
of $1,000.
send
That's on our notice.
that out,
They've already been notified of that in the last letter,
In the
that
previous-
they're being fined.
that failure to comply puts them at risk for a fine.
Right.
Okay, it's, with the penalty.
But now we're going to tell them that
That they have
unless
to
they
come-
show up next month, they
gotta
are
come-
under a
They're
fine.
coming to a hearing
Yeah,
for this purpose, to resolve this.
To reduce the fine,
Right,
is why they're coming to the hearing.
yes.
right, I think that's what we need to make clear in this second communique, is they've accrued a
They've
fine.
already got it.
And the
So
only
now-
way they're getting out of the fine is to address this board.
Right.
Right?
So we should have that in the form of a motion then, to set this for a hearing on these two campaign finance reports, and authorize Monica then to, I know that the one in Florida will be more difficult, but to do best faith effort to
Well, I think we've
notify the
already,
individual.
that's why we adopted that process, and so we don't have to keep making the motions and advising Monica on what to do. Like, we're just next to, step number
Next
4 or
step.
something.
I think we have a process, but I think Ethan is right, that we do need to
Should
get
do a
a
motion.
specific.
Try to
that you-
codify it
You
again.
need to have the motion to set all of these for hearing in May, and just, in a time that we're gonna set these for hearing. So if we wanna do it at 3, or we wanna do it at 3:30,
So we'll need to set a date in May, because our next meeting isn't until the next quarter. So we're gonna have to meet prior to the next meeting, because we decided to meet quarterly this year because
Because there's,
Awful
not a
election.
whole
Yeah,
lot
I think
going
we
on.
should hold a meeting though for it.
Yeah, so if we're gonna meet in May, we just need to set a date for that. And then that can be included in the motion.
Should be the 20th then?
yeah, do you
That
want to
would
do
be our
Yeah.
normal date. Would you like to make that motion?
So moved.
So we don't have any other,
Do we have a
Business for the
second?
board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, so
Okay, so we're
May
clear.
20th at 3 PM.
Monica, not to be a micromanager here, but in the notice that you send out, will you make it abundantly clear that filing that report between now and May 20th does not excuse them from showing up at the hearing, please?
I absolutely, I appreciate that. You're not micromanaging, I appreciate that.
All right, moving on. Other business before this board, anyone?
I just real quick want to give Sunday and Becky their certificates, because I forgot to do that during the clerk's report.
Yes, and that's.
Glad they were trophies. They didn't make life signs, I tried. Dollar Tree was cheap. Let's take pictures when the meeting's over. It was a long, long week.
It was, but it was fun.
was.
It was fun. It was so cool seeing the backside of how we vote, seeing, and it's a lot of work that goes into making those ballots on the screen. Like, you see
Sure.
the screen with a couple boxes, we're
And yours,
literally
congratulations.
and learning the different stuff that we can actually do with the ballot that we didn't even know we had access to.
And the voice files, that was super cool. Because you have to rearrange the letters so that it reads it like the person's name.
Phonetically, yeah. It's
But
literally.
it's nowhere near sometimes how it's spelled.
Right,
Not even close.
right.
So my daughter's name is Emily, but it's Emmaleighh. So I had to completely change the name of her spelling to get it to read it right. And, some of our pets won elections, it was really cool. It was a big day for them.
Years now with how in-depth that training was.
All right, I think we have our next meeting set, upcoming deadlines.
So, yeah, our hearing will be on May 20th, but then our next meeting will be on August 19th. And then we have, for upcoming dates, is August 2nd is the next filing date to know if we're going to have, it's actually on the 1st, but because the 1st is a Sunday, it's the 2nd, to know if we're going to have a November election. So then the August meeting after that is good timing. And we're already getting calls about 2022 elections, so buckle your seatbelts.
I had a call asking about 2023, when filing will open, so they can run for vote on it.
Here.
They're very eager.
Yes, they are. They're on top of things.
Yep.
All right, any other business before this board? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you all.